What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I am Lucky, and today we are looking forward to the future. Well, 2021. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and since we are going into the new year, I thought I would talk about some anime that's going to be coming out. But I had to think about this because there is a lot of anime coming out, so I decided to narrow it down to my top 5 favorites. Of course, it's a top 5 list, but I thought I would narrow it down even further. But before we get into all of that, I just want to remind everybody that these are in no particular order, and also, there's a lot of anime coming out, so if I did miss something, please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you, and maybe we can do a part 2. So without further ado, let's get straight into my top 5 second seasons in anime for winter 2021. Number 1 is Dr. Stone, Season 2, Stone Wars. I was a bit late in finishing my Dr. Stone journey. I finished it back in July, but I have to say, I was really impressed with the way it ended and how it ramped us up for Season 2. For people that were okay with being spoiled and didn't watch Season 1, Dr. Stone follows a group of people who are trying to survive after a crazy event turned the entire human population on Earth to stone. After Senku, the main character, breaks out of his stone state, he begins to try and make scientific progress by going from the Stone Age to where technology was before the event. His main adversary is Tsukasa, who Senku helps to break out of his stone prison, but soon it becomes clear that Tsukasa wants to get rid of all the adults who are trapped in stone, whereas Senku wants to try and save everyone, splitting them into 2 groups: the Kingdom of Science and Tsukasa's Empire. The problem is, Tsukasa isn't just a brute and is just as clever as Senku is, but without the absurd amount of scientific knowledge that Senku has. I'm really looking forward to the second season because we did get some great altercations between the 2 groups, but we really didn't get to see a whole lot of Taiju and Yuzuriha, who are going undercover in Tsukasa's group. I also want to see how Senku is going to be using his new communication network to get the upper hand, and what Tsukasa is going to do in response. And come on, that title, Stone Wars? Who wouldn't be excited for that? Number 2 is the Quintessential Quintuplets. Okay, so this might not surprise anyone who knows me, but I'm really into the romance genre, and I have to admit, even though this follows a lot of typical harem tropes, it did feel like a refreshing take on it. Quintessential Quintuplets follows Futaru Uesugi, who is on the poorer side of the tracks, as he is hired to tutor the Nakano Quintuplets, who are rich. It ends up being a pretty big task for him since they all have terrible grades and have little to no desire to study. However, we get a foreshadowing event that Uesugi marries one of the 5 girls in the future, and it's not entirely clear who it is. Also, we know that he has a history with one of the girls, but as we said, they are all identical, and just because her hair is a bit different, you can't tell exactly who it is. I have been waiting 2 years for Season 2, and I have to say, I was like a giddy schoolgirl when I heard that it was coming out in 2021. This list is starting to heat up. Is the girl from Uesugi's past the same as the one he marries in the future? Will these girls ever admit their feelings for him? I need answers! But all I gotta say is that I'm Team Miku. Number 3 is Re:Zero Season 2, Part 2. So this one is cheating a little bit, but Re:Zero kinda just stopped midway on Season 2, right when it was going hard. Re:Zero follows a boy named Subaru who gets sent to another world and realizes that he has the power to restart at a quote-unquote checkpoint when he is killed. The amount of times we have seen this poor guy die is kind of ridiculous, but I have to say that I am impressed that they have found new ways to give me nightmares. We know that Subaru has an incredible task ahead of him as we learn that Rosewall is behind the assassination attempt at his own mansion to try and steal Subaru's resolve by giving him a decision: help Emilia with the trials or save the people at the mansion. We've learned a lot this season, that there are people who we trusted in Season 1 who might be playing both sides, the existence of the witches, as well as a mysterious resemblance of the Witch of Envy to Emilia, but one thing is for sure, Re:Zero has got no chill. Number 4 is Beastars. I don't think anyone was as surprised at Beastars as I was. I really didn't give this show the credit it deserved until I got about 4 episodes in, and I started realizing that this was a legit contender for anime of the season. Beastars takes place in a world without humans, where instead, animals are given human characteristics, such as standing on 2 legs, living in modern society, and, of course, since this is anime, going to high school. Watching Legoshi and Haru's forbidden romance really blossom was a great end to the season, but I have to say, I am really wondering what Louis has in store, because we know that he went missing after the Shishigumi incident, and we know that he is going down a dark descent into the grips of the crime world. Even though these animals live in human roles, they still have the same primal desires, so the carnivores still have a craving to hunt their herbivore and omnivorous counterparts, but they can't, or else they'll be arrested. This creates tension between the prey animals and the carnivores when a classmate is killed in the beginning of the series, and now it looks like there's going to be further investigation into that. Also, what the hell is with this snake lady? What happened to Louis? Will Legoshi and Haru finally hook up? And the biggest question is what's up with Bill the Tiger and his addiction to blood. We see in the final scene that there is a predator who has thrown away a packet of seemingly blood, and Legoshi asks them why they're smiling. Was Bill behind Tem's murder? I cannot wait to find out. Number 5 is the Rising of the Shield Hero. I have to say that the Rising of the Shield Hero was one of the greatest isekais that I have ever seen. I love the story of Naofumi and how he has to fight to get his honor back, but more than that is the fact that he's not exactly the definition of a hero, but still ends up becoming one. In the first season, Naofumi is summoned to another world along with 3 other people who end up becoming the sword hero, the bow hero, the spear hero, and Naofumi becomes the shield hero, who is disliked by the king who summoned them, and is ultimately discriminated against to the point where the queen has to step in. The kingdom of Melromark, as we learned last season, is actually a matriarchy, meaning the queen is the one who has all the power. But since she was away on business, the king took advantage of the situation. The addition of Lark, Therese, and Glass's story of being from another world as well brings up a lot of questions that I can't wait to be answered. I really didn't know what was going to happen after Naofumi was redeemed, but I have to admit, they could make like 10 seasons of Shield Hero and I'd still watch, because the writing is superb and the characters are awesome. Also, just to ruin anyone who has a crush on Raftalia, just remember, she's like 10, bro. And that was my list. What did you guys think? Did you agree? Or disagree? I know there is a lot of stuff coming out in 2021 and it is really hard to choose. I'm gonna watch all of it anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me. But once again, let us know in the comment section below if you guys had any other anime that you're really looking forward to in the winter of 2021. And as always guys, remember to keep it casual.